Alright, this is going to be the tutorial to get started with the self-portrait drawing in Illustrator. So it's pretty much how we did like with your pretest before. Basically, you're going to upload the image onto Illustrator, resize it, and then you're going to trace the drawing. Alright, but just real important though, make sure to upload your 3 strongest portrait photos onto the Google Classroom, just because this is where you're going to download your photos. So when you click on the link, upload your 3 photos should show up there, and you're just going to make sure to pick one of the photos that you want to use. You want to take a look at your 3 strongest on the computer, because sometimes the what's on the phone will look a little bit differently than what's on the computer. So just make sure to download your photo, and also real important, just make sure you use Chrome to download the photos. Alright, but once you've downloaded your photo, I'm actually going to use this one here. This is a photo I had last year that I've taken, so I'm just going to use this as the demonstration today. Alright, but it's pretty easy though. All you're going to do is just click and drag your photo onto Illustrator, and then it should load up in Illustrator. So more than likely it'll end up being a lot larger than what it should be. So all you're gonna do is just resize the image. So I'm just gonna hold the shift. I'm just gonna click on the image, use the selection tool, and I'm just gonna hold shift and make it smaller. So it's gonna be smaller here, and it's okay if it's the longer ways or the tall ways. So if you have some white space, it's fine. Because one thing that's good about Illustrator is you can always resize or change things later. Actually, we could change it now. So yeah, I would resize it here. I'm just holding the Shift key and just clicking and dragging the corners. Just make sure, because what happens is if you drag it normally, it's going to stretch or skew the picture. So hold the Shift key and just make sure to click and drag that way. Now, if you want to get rid of these white spaces, you can click on this tool. It's called the artboard. But basically, this allows you to resize your whiteboard, so you can actually click and drag these corners that way. So everything is set now for you to do your tracing. Pretty much the only thing I'd like to do is make sure to go to your layers panel. You go to Windows and layers if it don't show up. Just lock the layer. You can title it your picture, just so you know what it is. And then you're going to create a new layer. You just click on this button here to create a new layer, and you can title this layer your outline. Alright, so pretty much like what we've done before, you're going to zoom in, so Command plus to zoom in, and you're going to have to use the hand tool once in a while to move around. You want to zoom in pretty close so you can get those, so you can actually see like where the lines are. And you're going to use the pen tool. Again, you're going to have to flip it around, so this is on none. The fill should be on none, and then your outline. I'm actually going to just use like a light blue just to make it pop up. So you don't want to use a black just because some of those areas like the hair, it might be hard to see like what those are. But you can always change the colors later. And all you're going to do is I'm just going to leave it on the 1 point stroke. All you're going to do is just basically just trace your line. So just make sure to utilize the curves, and pretty much like that last exercise that you did, you're going to use like that same technique to draw your lines. You can do Command Shift A to deselect. That way you can just constantly just work and keep moving around to do your tracing. Alright, but real important though, do utilize the curves, and always click on the last point to to finalize the curves. Alright, but pretty much all you're gonna do is just trace the lines. And I would just pick and choose lines. So just treat it as if it were like a drawing still. You don't want to draw like every single detail, but you want to like draw like the most important details to kind of like create the shape and form of the face. So like if you see right here though, there's like a lot of little lines I could create for like my eyebrows. Instead of like drawing every single line, I could basically do this for like all my lines to do like the eyebrows. But it's not gonna look really that good. So a better way of doing that though is you can just think of it as like an entire shape. So I'm just gonna draw the shape of the eyebrow, or like the outlines of the edges, and that might create more of like an effective eyebrow. It'll be a little bit thicker, but You still want to like think about it in terms of like a drawing, not like drawing every little thing or every little detail. Same thing with like the eyebrows. I wouldn't draw like every single eyebrow. I probably just I'll zoom in a little closer so you can see. So like I wouldn't draw like every strand of that eyebrow. Maybe I might do it later as a detail, but I'm just gonna draw like the shape of it. So I'm just gonna draw the edges and the shape of the eyebrow. So something like this might be a little bit more effective to look at, as opposed to drawing the little lines. Just think of it in terms of like drawing, like if you're in like your Art 1 class or your drawing class. So I'm just drawing the lines, and do utilize the curves and click on the previous points to get your lines. Alright, but the one thing I don't want to see though is when you do your lines, and I'm going to do it down here just to show you. Okay, utilize curves, but don't do this with your lines. Just click on it. There will be some instances where you might have to click like this on like certain parts that there's a lot of like points, but I don't want to really see this though with your lines, because your lines aren't going to look that clean, especially when you hide it. I mean, it looks okay, but like like especially like right here, it's kind of like very boxy and jagged. Instead of doing it that way though, I'd rather you just do like your curves. So click here, make a curve. Click here, you can make another curve. Click there, make a curve. It's also a lot less work too if you utilize the curves and just draw what you see. Something like that looks a little bit more natural by hand. Okay, also when you get to like the hair here, same thing like the eyebrow too. I want you to think of it in terms of the outline. Okay, so I'm not just drawing every single line here, I'm just drawing the outline of the hair. And this will probably be like the one instance where you might have to, click around like this just because of how the hair is. If you can though, try to utilize curves where it's possible though. Okay, do simplify things. You don't have to draw every single detail. Like, it'll take me like forever to draw every single strand, but I'm just kind of like simplifying the curves a little bit, or the strands of the hair. Same thing when you get up to here with the hair too. Simplify these things. Don't draw every single detail. I mean, the nice thing about drawing is, seeing how the artist simplifies things. Because, if we wanted a completely accurate portrayal of the portrait, that's what basically photography is for. But, the one interesting aspect about drawing is, just to simplify these things. Not include all the details, but how the artist simplifies it. So, do simplify it. Again, I'm not just drawing every single strand. Don't kill yourself over the drawing. I might even include this hair here, or I might include like one strand of hair here, but, really do simplify things though. Don't kill yourself. That'll probably be like one of the challenges of this project, is not to draw every single detail, as you do have to make those artistic decisions on how you draw the lines. Just trace it. Again, you don't have to move this quickly. I'm just showing you like the emotions of how to do it. But overall though, the drawing though in itself, it shouldn't take you more than 2 class periods, at the most maybe 3. But you can click on the eyeball to see how your drawing's turning out. This looks pretty good. Alright.